What's up, everyone? This is Josh Rubin with East West Healing, the Simplified Podcast. Today, I want to talk about why weight loss is more than just food and exercise. But before we jump in, as always, please like this video. Please hit that subscribe button. Please share this with everyone that you know because, of course, this supports us. Let's jump in. So I tried recording this video yesterday a few times. I've been a little bit under the weather. I'm sitting in the sun right now. It feels good. So if I glare, I apologize. But this feels good for me. And right now, that's all that matters. I'm just kidding. But so I want to talk about this because I think as a culture, we're trying to strangle a dead horse and make something that's not working work over and over again. You know, and it doesn't matter who comes to us and what their issues are, whether it's histamine, gut, SIBO, a disease, a disorder. At the same time, they could be on 50 supplements, have 5 diagnoses, have 5 meds, and they always want to lose weight. So it's kind of like human nature, because when we lose weight, we feel better in our body, but that does not equate to health. I'm not advocating being overweight is healthy, but at the same time, I think that there's a lot that has to happen within our environment, within our body, for us to actually lose weight. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say if you cut calories and overtrain, that you're not going to lose weight, and you will, right? That's taking the elevator to the top, but there's always a consequence at the expense of damaging your metabolism. And this is why we have the term yo-yo dieting, because once you do that strict way of eating and working out to lose the weight, it's not sustainable. And you don't learn anything. It's like you got out of prison, you don't know how to live. So the second you go back to your old ways, which got you here, right? Which got you here won't get you there. You gain the weight back, so you do it again. You damage your metabolism even more. So now you do the same thing, but it takes a little bit harder to lose the weight and so forth. And this causes people to consistently gain weight over time, or like a lot of our clients, they just work out every single day. They're hitting the pavement and they're losing the weight. They're not exactly where they want, but they have tons and tons and tons of symptoms, whether it be their thyroid, they can't get to the weight they used to be able to. They have sleep issues, chronic pain, but they still work out, right? It's become this addiction. And I really want to highlight a client within the Nourished Nervous System program. She came into the program 3 months ago. She just posted on our community the other day. And if you want to learn more about the Nourished Nervous System program, click on the description. You can check it out. It's currently 50% off. But she came into the program with a plethora of issues: sleep issues, thyroid issues, gut issues, a lot of the same stuff that everyone's complaining of, right? Now, at the end of the program, and she's continuing with our subscription, but she said, it's amazing. My life has changed. This program has changed my life. I'm sleeping better. My mood is better. I have a better outlook on life. My energy is better. My digestion's better. My hormones are regulated. I mean, the list goes on, but she said, I know. But when is the weight going to start coming off? And I think it's important to realize that we all have a story, and everyone's story is a little bit different, right? The story is, I'm 49, I'm going to be 50 this year. My story is 0 to 49. Everything that's happened to me in my life has shaped my biology to where I am today. And we have to really honor that and embrace it so we can set realistic goals and give our body a little bit of space and grace. And that's why some people lose a little bit of weight sooner, and for some people, it takes a little bit longer. But here's the thing. You need to remind yourself of how this has changed your life and all the results that you're getting. And it's not just about the results. It's not just the elimination of symptoms. It's you finally, for the first time in a long time, after trying so many things, you've put yourself in the driver's seat. And when you do that, you control your hormones, you control your gut, you control your immune system, whatever it is. And those things control your metabolism. So now you're in control, right? Now you're actually changing your habits and behaviors in your environment, those inputs. And they're influencing and reshaping your biology and creating different outputs. I feel better, my mood's better, my energy's better, and so forth. But I haven't lost the weight, and here's why. Again, we have to embrace our story. How much debt have we created over the past 49 years? For a lot of us, for me, it's 49 years of debt, right? I'm not saying I'm in debt now, but at the same time, it takes us time to pay off debt. So you might be $1 million in debt energetically. You might start a process and 3 months in go, wow, I'm $500,000 in debt. Right? And you can say, I'm still $500,000 in debt. This isn't working. Why me? This is ridiculous. Everyone's getting results. I'm going to try something new. That's what everyone does. Or you can go, shift. Wow. For the first time in a decade, I've actually, started paying off debt. I'm now only $500,000 in debt. So what I'm doing and how I'm living is actually not only helping me save money and spend a little money, but it's actually helped me pay off my debt to get me into the green. So it's a mindset shift, and it's really important that we do that and give our body a little space and grace and stay the path. Because if you stay that path over time, you will lose weight. Number two, why is it more than just food and nutrition and exercise? Well, look out the window, look on social media, it's plain as day, but at the same time, the key thing that no one talks about is leptin. Leptin is a circadian signaling hormone. It's literally driven by light and is regulated by light, just like every hormone and everything in the body and darkness. But its relationship with cortisol is going to dictate, can you let go of the weight or not? So in a perfect world, leptin will dock between meals to tell us we're full. We don't need any more energy, right? Because it tells the body the energy status. But it docks at 2 a.m., 12 to 2 a.m. in the hypothalamus in the brain, tell the body the energy status. Here's what came in. Here's what didn't come in. Here's what you need. Here's how much you have in your bank account, and so forth. So leptin rises at night along with melatonin to support autophagy, repair, regeneration, and so forth. Because that's what nighttime is all about. But we have to live in a way to support our body to actually plug in and recharge. And just because you're sleeping doesn't mean you're recharging. So it docks, so it rises. Well, as sunrise happens, melatonin actually wants to come down to allow cortisol to dim up to do many things, but one of those things is to stimulate our appetite, right? The problem is if we don't live in a way to allow leptin to dock at night, and this could be a million different things, right? It could be working out after sunset. It could be working out before sunrise. It could be exposing your eyes to blue light before sunrise. After sunset, it could be eating too early in the morning before sunrise, eating too late at night after sunset, and a million things during the day, right? The demands being placed on you exceed what you can handle. But what happens is now leptin can't dock, right? It can't dock in the hypothalamus. So in the morning, it doesn't drop. And this is how we develop a leptin resistance, which I'll talk about in a second, as well as in other videos. So now cortisol can dim up to stimulate your appetite. But most people wake up, what do? You wake up and you rush, you wake up and you flip on the lights, you wake up, you go to your phone, the list goes on. And that blue light, which is found nowhere in nature by itself, activates the retinal hypothalamic tract in the hypothalamus, and cortisol shoots to the roof. And that suppresses your appetite. You not only can turn on your appetite because leptin's too high, now you have a suppression of appetite. And then we say, well, I'm just going to fast because I don't have an appetite and I might as well just meet that need. And now you're perpetuating it. Now you're living against how our biology works, because all our biology in our system, just like every organism on this planet, is dictated by sunlight and darkness, right? Sunlight is all those daytime programs, hormones, neurotransmitters, the gut, and so forth. Nighttime, leptin, autophagy, repair, regeneration, to recoup so we can come into the next day refreshed, waking up hungry, waking up energized, waking up and needing to go to the bathroom mid-morning. There's a reason for that, because that UVA stimulates that serotonin and so forth, right? But here's the problem. When leptin can't dock and you become leptin resistant, leptin controls insulin and leptin controls glucose. Insulin and glucose sensitivity and receptor sites. A lot of people say you need to regulate your blood sugar, focus on insulin to lose weight. You need to focus on leptin, because leptin is a conductor of this. And if leptin can't dock, what happens now is the body doesn't know what's coming in. The body doesn't know if things are going to come in, and so forth, because there's no communication happening with leptin. So the body says, I need to hold on to everything. I have to hold on to everything because I am in a scarcity state. I am feast or famine. I don't know what is going to come in, when it's coming in, and so forth. So it won't let go of anything. It won't let go of fat. Energy systems are going to start to dock a little bit to preserve them, like the thyroid and your metabolism and so forth. So you start to see, along with these other issues and this lack of appetite, all these other metabolic issues begin to drop a little bit to preserve energy, because the body always prioritizes defense, right? It's that simple. At the same time, if leptin can't dock, two things happen. Number one, leptin actually is produced in your fat cells, and it activates brown fat, right, to eat white fat to help us actually lose weight. And it's an energy source. But if we can't dock leptin, we can't do that, right? Number two, we end up with this hyperglycemia, hyperinsulinemia. We end up with high reverse T3, high CRP, high HDL, high blood sugar, high insulin, hyperinsulinemia, diabetes, PCOS, and so forth, right? This is leptin resistant. It has nothing to do with those issues. It's leptin driving that problem. And this is why we can't lose weight, because the orchestra is out of tune, right? So it's really important to understand that when that body is in that scarcity state, it won't let go of energy. And another thing I forgot to mention that I wanted to mention is when you're in that state of leptin resistant, the body becomes a sugar burner 24/7. It doesn't utilize fat for energy, especially at night when we're at rest. And this is a problem because when you're constantly burning sugar for energy, right, this is why these people have these blood sugar issues, insulin issues, high reverse T3, PCOS, etc., is now you're burning sugar 24/7. And these are the people that say, I need a bedtime time to sleep. I have to eat every 2 hours. If I don't, I'm dizzy. I have to eat carbs because if I don't, A, B, C, and D. Or if I have carbs, I get dizzy, A, B, C, and D, right? These are people that are leptin resistant. And that's a problem because when you're basically living or eating paycheck to paycheck and the body's in the scarcity state, you're never going to lose weight again because leptin stimulates brown fat to eat white fat. So how do we regulate this? Honestly, it's more in depth than just what I'm going to share here. And this is what we go over in the Nourish Nervous System program. But it's about not only protecting yourself from blue light in the morning and at night, right? With blue blockers or lighting candles instead of turning on the lights and so forth. I know we live in a world where we need to get on our phones and turn the lights on. Just wear orange blue blockers at night and in the morning before sunrise, sunset. But most importantly, getting outside at sunrise, getting outside at morning sun, getting outside at sunset. So your body can actually get that communication and know the time of day to help leptin dock, because that's the one thing that's going to help because it's a circadian signaling hormone. 2, making sure you're not eating before sunrise. Make sure you're not eating after sunset. Make sure you're not working out before sunrise. Make sure you're not working out after sunset. Remember, your body is turning on. We don't want to shoot it to the moon. The body's turning off. We want to support it to do so. And when you don't, you tell the body it's midday and those nighttime programs can't come on. One of them being leptin. There's other nutritional things that are done that we do with people to help them find their sweet spot. But typically, just to summarize in a nutshell, you want to eat a higher protein fat to lower carb ratio because you're a sugar burner. So you have to find their sweet spot with carbs, right? So they can utilize some for energy, but it's not too much. They can't process them because they're hyperinsulinic, hyperglycemic. But remember, carbs aren't the problem. It's the body that they're going into. And what is amazing that we see in this program with people is when people do lose weight, they say the same thing every single time. I have lost 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds in this program without even trying. Why? Because everyone's trying to teach you to lose weight to get healthy. What we're doing is helping you actually get healthy to lose weight. Thank you for tuning in. As always, my friends, I'm out.